day 8 of being a girl, and I've gotten some messages that are saying that I need to be calling myself a woman and not a girl. And I didn't even know that some women were offended by being called girls, so that's really good to know. But for me, the word girl feels great because I never got to be one growing up. And it feels very able to make mistakes and growing and changing and evolving, whereas the word woman feels very strong and confident and powerful, and that still intimidates me a little bit. So I'm gonna keep calling myself a girl. Hope that's okay. Love ya.
Corey, we had to start your day with that because as I was telling the guys before we started the show, I said, run the wood chipper intro, because when that wood chipper starts grinding up that big tree at the end, the sound that makes, it just touches something deep in my soul that I can't even describe. Like there's just some visceral, overwhelming love.
And then all of a sudden you get morning wood.
Sharpen them blades, boy. You know, me and Wayne were talking yesterday, and I was like, you know what the best cover for a pedophile would be? To own and run a wood chipping service, because nobody would suspect that they'd put themselves that close to a wood chipper willingly. You know what I mean? So it's the perfect cover. They probably make wood chipper jokes when somebody talks about pedophiles. Hey, man, I got a chipper. Let's do it. Am I right, guys? You know? Yeah.
And then whenever they
you want a bar here? It's like selling the service. Like, you want a bar here? I got one right in the backyard.
And then whenever they get discovered, they can just throw themselves in. They don't even have to wait for somebody else to do it.
Yeah, or the people throwing them don't have to go far to find one. They just they go in the garage next to where they found the children, and there's the wood chipper. It's perfect.
Just stand there and be like, all right, just drop kick me into it, I guess. I knew that day was coming.
It's time. Oh shit.
What's really funny about the opening of that intro is that's day 8 of Dylan Mulvaney. People seem to forget that like more or less day like 1 through 10 were really just a like mockery of women. Like it wasn't anything serious. Like if you were paying attention, you could tell that this dude was creating this like overblown caricature of a woman to make fun of and mock women. Like it wasn't, but then it got picked up by the right people and got turned into something else. Like it seems like it was a joke, like if you were paying attention, but then it was one of those like it's like what Clyde runs into on the internet. Like Clyde is a persona and he's kind of an idiot in some ways, and so sometimes Clyde runs into where he is Clyde in the real world when that's not really him, and he says and does stupid things because it's hard to separate being Clyde from not being Clyde. You know what I'm saying? I think that's where Dylan is.
Yeah, pro wrestling.
Like all of a sudden, like instead of the persona, you become the persona.
It's like method acting. Like eventually you hit this point where you've become so immersed in this character that it's hard to differentiate between the real you and the characterization of you.
The Heath Ledger effect.
Yeah.
Or something. There's got to be another example. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe preferably an example where they actually lived.
Well, I mean, for the whole trans thing, probably not, but it's whatever. It's like 50-50 shot.
So I guess I might be a little bit behind. I probably should have made my team and shit already, huh? I guess I'm going to do that today.
I mean, your team from last year rolls over. So I'm going to So you still have the same team. And you can choose to change the name of your team or not. It's entirely up to you. And then I'll start putting out the polls today, and we'll do like 2 days worth of voting on the first round of polls, and then I'll give it 3 days of voting for the finals and the other, and then that'll be our meeting. And then we'll redraft next Friday night. So 7:30 p.m. Central next Friday night. We'll be getting together for a live draft. I'll have a house full of people apparently, since 3 of the members of our league are going to be at my house. Yeah, a lot of fun.
Last year I kind of went pretty heavy with the home team. If you guys remember, I had a lot of Bucks players. Didn't work out great. So I was thinking about doing a different strategy this year, but then I saw that the Bucks have this secret weapon. I don't know if you guys have seen this. So I'm kind of thinking about going full on Bucks again. You guys tell me what you think. Just so you know, Wayne's having a full-blown seizure right now.
Is this the gay guy who like was?
He's a cheerleader, I think.
Yeah, but he's like the first male cheerleader in the NFL, right? Or something or he's one of the first ones. Right?
Something like we were because I was even at like wait, I'm like because Wayne was very upset. I probably listened to 47 minutes of
the tirade.
Wayne rants about old Dante yesterday. Yeah. And there's a couple things because that was I thought I'm like, but there's male cheerleaders, and he's like, right, in college, like to throw the girls. And I was like, I guess I haven't noticed one in the NFL, but I just feel like there would be male cheerleaders just because like they exist. You know what I mean? And they kind of serve a purpose in like the physics of cheerleading, sometimes. But one of the things that Wayne was really upset about, which I didn't realize was such an issue, but I guess it makes sense, is that if you saw he was dancing on the logo in the locker room, which I guess like traditionally like players don't even step on or walk over, I'm not aware of these traditions, but that's supposedly a thing. So it's very offensive to the Buccaneers flag there to be dancing on top, to be queering off on top of it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like it's kind of like a superstition thing. Like, hey, don't touch the big logo or whatever because it's it's kind of like that. That's kind of like it's
flaggetry.
Yeah.
You stomp my flag, I'll stomp your ass.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of how like a lot of the football guys and the fans take it. They take it that seriously. So. But yeah, like well, it's because in the NFL, the cheerleaders are mostly there, obviously they are there for eye candy, whether they like it or not. They are there they serve the purpose of trying to, get dudes excited, and that's why they don't do all the crazy stunts. I mean, and stuff like that. I mean, they do they'll do like whatever backflip or whatever or something. They'll do
they're not going to competitions like they do in high school and college and shit. Yeah.
Yeah, it's more of a just like, hey, here's pretty women, shaking the butt around.
Yeah, drink some beer, get that testosterone going.
Yeah, exactly.
We're like, well, if they turn it around and win the Super Bowl this year, then then maybe there's something to this,
The secret weapon.
Well, we were talking about okay, marketing, right? Because it's all some sort of marketing or
yes.
Or propaganda or whatever you want to call it, right? But like okay,
marketing and propaganda. Like
Tampa sports is a weird thing because in Florida, Tampa, especially, like a lot of people aren't from here. So the big games are, people come to see the opposing teams, right? Where they're from, and oh man, I don't know how the leagues work. Patriots are coming to town or whatever, But like, so it's like, all right, so are they trying to just appease everybody? Are they not that worried about pushing away their Florida fans because maybe there's not that many of them? Are they is this like, okay, because Florida is now a place that certain people aren't supposed to travel to, according to, NPR, maybe this is a way of showing, hey, we're still friendly. Come visit the Bucks. You know what I mean? Like we're not
probably that last one.
Yeah, that's what I was. That was kind of I was thinking. Maybe this was just sort of a hedging against the Satan,
Yeah.
But I just thought it was funny how upset it makes certain people in my life.
Well, Tampa is a weird area too. It's not really Florida is odd because you have all the people from like New York who have like Florida homes who they mainly live in Florida, but they work in New York, so that's kind of their thing is like, oh well, I'll live in Florida, obviously no income tax, all this kind of stuff, but then they're all the time in New York working or whatever, like CEOs or whatever, and then so they support a lot. They're the ones who support like the Tampa teams because that seems to be like that kind of area. But they're not really home fans. A lot of times, like you said, they're there to watch. If they're going to see the Tampa Bay Rays, that's why like the Tampa Bay Rays might actually move away from Tampa at some point because they don't have a loyal fan base in Tampa. Like,
yeah, dude, they've been talking about it for years. Like even like putting them actually in Tampa or something, or trying to put them in what I thought might not be a bad idea. I'm not a city planner or anything, but right where you get to Tampa, there's I-4, there's the Hard Rock Seminole Casino. Right across the interstate from that is the whatever corporate sponsor of the year amphitheater, where they do concerts, and then the state fairgrounds is right, like literally like the same grounds right there too. So it's like, man, I can put them there. Like it just seems like the place to be. It's right by downtown, or it's close enough to downtown Tampa, just a few miles away. It just seems to make sense. But I don't know.
Well, like there's been a bid from Orlando to have a team. And honestly, people were speculating like, are they going to move the Tampa team to Orlando and just make that that the move? Like, okay, I can see it being more Orlando than Tampa though, because I mean, there's definitely probably more of a pull from Orlando, I would think, than Tampa. I mean, at least the tourism part, more people probably go to Orlando than they go to Tampa. So,
yeah, that's definitely true for tourism. I'm for sure. What's Carlos talking about? What's Messi fever?
Lionel Messi. He's coming. He's playing for the Miami team.
Oh, baseball, football. I don't know
soccer.
sports. Soccer. Sorry. Oh, yeah. God, yeah, okay. Yeah, you're
Lionel Messi, the most popular soccer player ever in the world.
really barking up the wrong tree.
Say, Carlos, you got to calm down. Dag barely knows anything about the sports that are actually popular. He's definitely not going to know anything about some niche sport like soccer. I mean, you may as well be talking about hockey.
I barely knew who was on my team last year.
That's why Dag picked all of Tampa Bay Buccaneers last year. That way he would actually know who it was. He could watch the game and see how they did.
He replaced Tom Brady perfectly.
Oh yeah, I saw this.
Yeah, did you hear about this?
Oh yeah, he's probably gonna be he's probably gonna be going away. I don't see how this. Yeah.
From, I guess, the little bit I heard about us, it's something like the girl's mom told him she was 18 or something.
She's probably going to use this. See, this is why I hate this whole discussion of like when people do this kind of stuff.
She looks young. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead. I wasn't trying to interrupt you. I was just.
I hate this whole thing because like a lot of times like they say, oh, alleged relationship. Well, there's people, they lie and stuff like this, especially probably if the mom told him that, she was 18 or whatever. And then all of a sudden, yeah, I mean, granted, he should be doing a lot of better vetting, but I don't like the way that they do this kind of stuff, like trying to trap people, like especially celebrities into.
There's some shitty. He had some shitty situation. I mean, he's what, 24. So it's like if he's like 40, it's like, dude, you should stay away from the 18. Like you should be fucking mid 20s. Just play it safe, right? And that's good enough. But like, yeah, man, it's like that does suck. And again, like you say, you should do his vetting. I mean, you should do your due diligence, I guess, but you shouldn't really have to worry about people lying to you to trap you in some legal thing. I had a friend of mine who he's a younger dude, and he's a good-looking half-black guy. He's just slaying the Lakeland area, right? Just
Mhm.
slaying Tinder, right? This is a couple years back. He gets like, I don't know, a call or a message that from a quote-unquote detective saying that one of the girls that he fucked recently was underage, and the dad found out, and he's really upset, and blah, blah, blah. And the kid's like freaking out, dude. And like, oh my God, I'm fucking going to go to jail. I had no idea what the fuck's going on, what's happening. And the boss man at the place I worked was like, dude, relax. Don't do a fucking thing about it. He's like, it's bullshit. And he's like, just wait. And sure enough, they hit him back. It's something like, oh, like trying to make this go away with money kind of thing. And he's like, see, it's bullshit. You didn't fucking underage girl, but there's fucking like Tinder bitches who are like trying to scam and then playing this thing, and let's say they get, I don't know, dude. I mean, that's a terrifying thing. I think a lot of people probably pay the fucking money, but let's say it's even, 2 out of 10, how many thousands of dollars, I mean, I don't know, man. But yeah, man, there's scams like that going on where the girls aren't even underage, but they want to, trick you into thinking they were to blackmail you. So, that shit's out there. It's a weird world.
Yeah.
No one under 40. That's my rule.
See, Justin wants the older chicks anyway. He wants the MILF material.
When I was single and looking, they had to have at least a couple kids, be able to cook. I wouldn't. If they're hitting the bar scene, that's the wrong place for me. Like, I'm looking for the like the meat aisle at the grocery store. Like, let's see what's on, what we can get. What kind of deals they got going on ground beef this week? Like, I'm gonna narrow your search down. Look for the right woman.
Oh shit!
That was what sold me on Stephanie. It was because she was still recovering from having her foot surgery, and I was working all the time. So like the only time we really had a chance to see each other would be like when I would get off work. And so I'd get off work and just go hang out with her, and she would cook for me. And it was like, yep, I'm gonna lock this down. She's cooking for me, and we're not even married. Yeah. So that's the one. She made me pork chops. I love me a good fried pork chop. That's how I knew. Meant to be. Are y'all gonna talk? Or are you just gonna let me keep? You're just gonna let me keep like droning on about?
Yeah.
So I had to step in the other room and grab a new battery for my vape. I'm back.
It's like y'all, you can interject at any time. Say something nice about your own wife, or change the topic.
We could.
My wife's great. I love her.
We could get the you could have married an egg producer. That's kind of what the show title is. So Rachel Levine, our wonderful health director, calls mothers egg producers while visiting a gender clinic.
Well, we can't call them birthing persons anymore because now, since supposedly men can also give birth, that doesn't count. So you have to find some other way, and calling them women is offensive because there's men in the name women. So you can't do that either. They've got to find something for them. So I guess egg producers narrows it down because.
But what if they don't produce any eggs?
Because trans women don't produce eggs.
Ooh, what if they're postmenopausal? Are you no longer a woman?
Yeah.
That's right. See, you're now no longer a woman.
Yeah, that's kind of what the birthing person thing ran into. So this will probably have the similar fate because now if I don't produce any eggs, am I not a am I not a woman, or am I not a female, or if I do that? So, Jesus.
One of my hustles is I guess technically, like Jay said, I don't produce the eggs, but I'm kind of an egg producer. I care for the egg producers and feed and collect and sell the eggs.
And then what do we do? What do we do with these women when they stop producing eggs? Because I know what I do with a chicken when it stops producing eggs.
I said, once you get to be postmenopausal, you're done.
Yeah, euthanasia.
Yeah. You're not a woman anymore. You're barely a person.
When I was a kid, I always thought euthanasia was talking about like actual young kids in Asia.
Like,
yeah.
Well, even just even just the term, it has the word youth in it. It is a misleading word. It's like if you were old and sick and like didn't know, vocabulary, and you're like in a nursing home and they're like, well,
You want
we got some
euthanasia?
options. We could euthanize you. And you go, oh yeah, let's do that, and you think they're going to, bring you around some adrenochrome or something. And really it's old Mr. Kevorkian. Don't euthanize me too far. I really liked how I looked in my 20s.
I feel like I've kind of hit my stride late 30s.
I don't want to be jail. Like I don't want to go back to looking like jailbait.
I don't want to get carded all the time. I still want to be able to drink. So.
Well, at least, even regardless of your, regardless of whether you produce eggs or not, hopefully you can actually shoot straight. But apparently, IRS agents can't. IRS agent kills fellow agent at Phoenix shooting range.
Is this one of the new ones? Do we know?
One of the 87,000 new ones.
Well, it's 86,999.
86,999 IRS agents to go. Take them down. A trading accident happens. Yeah, 990.
See, we don't even have to do anything. The problem's going to take care of itself. They didn't train these motherfuckers right and just gave them guns. They're like, all right, here you go. And the people who are like signing up to be IRS agents are like the last people on the planet who should ever have a gun, right?
Yeah.
Like they're definitely not the types who have spent much time shooting. So naturally, I bet you there have been a lot more that have shot each other like during actual training exercises and stuff. They just haven't reported any of those. They don't want you to know how completely worthless they actually are. The training accidents, they just write those off, and it's like, yeah, that's expected loss. We're not too worried about that.
Oh man.
See, this is
wait. Technically, we took out. They took out 2 federal agents in because technically, if one killed the other one, then they're probably going to go to jail. Hopefully, I don't know. Maybe I'm assuming, unless they bail them out, they're like, look, as long as you don't say anything.
It's the Viet Cong strategy. You don't kill the American GI. You blow his feet off. Then you take him out of commission, and it takes 2 guys to carry him out of the fucking jungle. So you take 3 guys out of commission with 1 mine.
There you go.
Yeah.
Smaller mines can be more effective. Yep. So I like your thinking. That was all satire. I didn't mean to mix explosions into that. That was talking about the Viet Cong. All right, I gotta stop talking.
Yeah.
Just to remind everybody, our show is satire and exaggeration and sarcasm, and that is it. That's all we do here.
Yes, that's all we do. We definitely don't. We definitely don't mean any of those things we say about the Jays. Not at all.
Dude, he's in the chat.
All satire.
Wait till he's not here. Come on, man.
Yeah, all of them are bad. Especially if they have to take plea deals. Like somebody's son here.
Did you see the thing? Somebody
The plea
said
deal's dismissed. Tax charges from defunct Hunter Biden plea deal dismissed by a federal judge in Delaware. Well, apparently he's going to get off scot-free.
I think. Okay,
what they did with this now what they're saying here is the judge dismissed the charges on the taxes because he was going to let the investigation probe continue to go through. Now,
I was about to say, so
is that going to lead to anything? I doubt it. But
the gun charge will hit statute of limitations in October. So if they try to push forward with all of the current charges, and that rolls over into that, then you're gonna end up with a conflict. So drop the charges now, carry on the investigation, and then tie back some other stuff to because they've got a lot of stuff with the shady business deals and stuff, especially now with the, did y'all see the email or whatever that Peter, what was Biden's fake name? Peter shit.
I don't remember what.
Pedo Pete.
Pedo
Yeah,
Pete was
Pedo
a
Pete.
nickname for. I thought that was a nickname for his dad.
Yeah, Pedo Pete was the nickname in his phone because because his alias that he used for like Hunter's business dealings and stuff was Peter something or other. So I think with that stuff coming out, they're dropping these charges. They're going to let the gun charge just go ahead and roll off and hit statute of limitations, because that wasn't anything that was going to actually like
Stick.
do
No,
right. That wasn't anything that wasn't going to accomplish anything. So drop these charges, let that roll over statute of limitations, and then add the tax evasion in with the business dealing stuff. I think that's the way they're approaching this. I don't, because the investigation is still ongoing. Like, and this was only a small part of what they were going after him for anyway. So, and the way the whole plea deal thing played out with, like, they showed that I think it accomplished what it needed to, because they showed their hand. They came out and they were like, and they tried to get all of those riders tacked on to get immunity from anything in the future as well. So they showed that they're concerned about the other stuff. Like, if you're not worried about any of that other stuff, you don't try to get immunity from everything else in a plea deal for something as minor as the tax evasion stuff. Because people like Hunter Biden and like, you know, these rich families, they don't actually do any time for tax evasion. It's a pay a $10,000 fine, get a slap on the wrist, and move on with life. So like nothing was going to actually come from that. So when they start trying to tack on rioters to get him immunity from everything else that could potentially come up, they're worried about the everything else. They're not actually worried. So this is an easy thing to dismiss this, let the investigation keep going, and let's see how we can nail him to the fucking wall later on.
Sounds about right.
I don't know if that'll still work though. I mean, because a lot of it's going to be they're going to have to see what else. I mean, what charges is he going to be like? Can it be treason? Or I mean, it's probably not going to be treason, but can it be something like some kind of what illegitimate? I mean, if he's just doing business, and even if it's highly illegal, like what are they going to do? I mean, it's an international incident. It's not a. I mean, that would go to an international court, and then that's outside of the U.S. jurisdiction, right? I mean, because if it's something he did in Ukraine, then the U.S. can't necessarily. I mean, they can prosecute him like for certain things, like if they find something that's legitimate. But I feel like what his lawyers, you know, his counsel is probably going to say is like, hey, you know, this is just, you know, business dealings between him and other people of another country. Like this doesn't concern the U.S. you know government in any way. I feel like there's like a loophole where he can just, you know, get out of everything, regardless of how corrupt and insane things may be.
It is weird how like
you know
how like change of venue and stuff can fuck. Like didn't they just do that with Trump? Like try to get his stuff changed to federal so it goes to a different court. Me and
well,
Wayne
they're trying to do all different kind of. It's like with the Trump stuff.
Did that.
It's like they're filing lawsuits in Georgia. They're filing lawsuits in where else? I mean, there's all kinds of indictments like from Georgia, from I mean federal. There's a federal probe or some case that they're trying to do with that. Then there's like just all these other ones that they were trying to stack up, and that's what they're trying to do is like, okay, eventually somewhere. If it's whether it's a court in Florida or court in Georgia or whatever, is somewhere we're going to find something that sticks, and I think that's what they're kind of banking on.
I had an uncle who got murdered in like in the 80s, and I remember being, you know, young, not when it happened, obviously, before I was born, but I remember, you know, hearing like it was like, oh, they like caught the guy kind of like they like in my uncle's car. Or with my uncle's wallet, with my uncle's blood all over the car, but they never pursued murder charges against my uncle on this guy. And he ended up years later going away for some other like murder and rape or some shit, you know. He's out now if he's still alive. But anyhow, when my cousin was locked up, she didn't have a lot of time on her hand, or she had a lot of time on her hands, so she started writing letters to sort of figure out what the fuck happened back then, and managed to get a hold of who is it, the DA or whatever, who decides if they're gonna pursue something, right? And he was like, oh well, what happened was this guy, he was suspected of murdering a police officer in Dallas, and they didn't want my uncle's murder case to interfere with this police officer murder case, so that's why they didn't pursue charging this guy with my uncle's murder. And then I don't think they ended up getting him on the fucking police murder
So they got him on nothing. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, and then he went on to do a lot more terrible things, you know. But
that's one of the flaws of our like
it's weird.
Our criminal justice system is like they want to pursue certain charges because they think they're like the highest charge. Oh well, you know, we can't, you know, let's get them on the highest charge, and that's what we'll try to pursue. But we'll throw all these other charges on just to see if, you know, maybe something, you know, if that doesn't go, then something else.
You'd think that adding, hey, this is showing a pattern that this guy's moving across the country killing people. You know, you'd almost think that the more shit you pile on, the better, right? Like that almost makes all your other cases stronger, you know? Like, hey, look, we've got this. He's highly suspected of this here, highly suspected of this here, highly suspected of this here. It's like, man, that really starts to show a fucking pattern, you know?
Yeah, but if you try to do, I think the way that it, like that logically that makes sense, right? But the way it functions isn't that way. It's like,
right. No, I know.
If you, it's because if you sit here,
sometimes.
Well, it's like, you know, there were legitimately like, we knew that my neighbors, like my parents and I knew that our neighbors had 2 working meth labs next door, and they didn't do anything because they said they were informants. And then okay, well they stole stuff from us. Like they stole my go-kart, they stole, you know, a few other things that we had. It's like they stole stuff. Can you get them on that? No. They're informants. You know, they're informing us about of all the people that they're dealing to. It's like, Jesus, like that's,
yeah, it is. And then you just realize, oh, the whole thing's just a big scam, and it's just shit that, you know. It's, you know, I mean, you can argue there's trade-offs, like you let some stuff happen so you can get bigger shit, but they only want to catch just enough to look like they're doing a good job and leave enough out there so they can demand more funding. You know, it's
exactly.
Yeah, they if not directly, indirectly facilitate the drug trade. You know what I mean? It's fucking jobs. You know, it's like the fucking mayor pulling out that bail, like we talked about on Monday, right? Pulling that bail out of the fucking ocean. She's out fishing. Bullshit. You know. Corey is right about this. So are potato shooters. You guys remember potato guns?
Oh, yeah.
Hairspray in them? Yeah. Yeah, those are fun too. Oh, shit. All right. Well, I don't know.
Well,
that's it. That was a good show, guys. See you. Just kidding. I just feel like I wasn't very prepared with any other stories.
Well, you know, we could still talk about the Hawaii thing. Apparently,
we were at a racetrack yesterday, and they had a spicy Hawaiian pizza. Is that what it was called, Wayne? Spicy Hawaiian pizza. And we're like, oh, that seems like it's in bad taste.
If they called it hot Hawaiian, that would have been
hot Hawaiian.
Okay. I don't remember the exact phrasing, but yeah, that would have been real rough. Extra crispy Hawaiian.
I do like a good spicy Hawaiian pizza. You got your ham, you got your pineapple, some Tabasco drizzle.
Yeah, it had jalapenos on it too.
On
this particular pizza. Yeah.
I think the one that the local the big pizza shop here does, it's like a spicy Hawaiian. It's banana peppers, a little bit of onion, like finely diced onion, the ham, the pineapple, and then it's like their own Tabasco sauce glaze, like they drizzle it on. Oh my god!
Oh, I fucks with it.
Oh, I may have to.
My kind of pizza.
May have to detour over to the pizza place tomorrow when we're, because I got stuff to do with So tomorrow I will be taking band nerds out to go like knock on doors and do fundraiser stuff because I would like to spend some time with my daughter this week. And while football season is in, literally her entire life is consumed with this band bullshit. So, so I'm gonna take her and some of her little friends that are driving around to do fundraising tomorrow. I think after we get done with that, me and her might ought to pop into the pizza place and get us some of that fiery Hawaiian.
Well, speaking of fiery Hawaiians, apparently
the commission is responsible per our authorizing statute to protect and manage all water resources in the state. One Water is like taking it and looking at it from a holistic system perspective, and that's not any different than how Hawaiians traditionally managed water. You know, in essence, we treated Native Hawaiians treated water as one of the earthly manifestations of a god and a kua kane. And so that reverence for a resource and that reciprocity in relation.
He's explaining why they didn't deploy enough water to put out the fires.
Was something that was really, really important to our worldview and well-being, right? And living in an island, isolated from other, civilizations. And so I think where it shifted to today or over time is that we've become used to looking at water as like something which we use and not necessarily something that we revere as that thing that gives us life, right? I mean, to me, it's a shift in value set. And, if we can start to really look at how we as humans in an island can reconnect to that traditional value set. So really my motto is always like, let water connect us and not divide us. Like we can share it, but it requires true conversations about equity.
Here's the problem, dude. If you're literally burning to death, you're neither revering nor using the water. So let's put out some fucking fires and then we can deal with how we think about our water. I don't understand why they're not like doing like helicopters.
Well, it's a climate change thing. Yeah,
why are they using helicopters with like the giant buckets and just, I mean, it's a fucking island. There's ocean everywhere. Like, use the giant buckets on with the helicopters, dip the bucket in the water, and then fly over and drop it on the fire. Like, you literally, it's literally an island. Water is everywhere. This should not be a problem.
It's funny because I was talking about this and I'm like, everyone wants to blame, they didn't give enough warning or whatever, and yes, I'm sure the state did a lot of things wrong, but really like as like a family, like you need to have like plans for disasters like in place. And I have to admit, like if I'm thinking about living in Hawaii, they're all water related disasters, right? Like tsunamis or hurricanes or whatever the hell they have over there, stuff
Not
like
really
that.
A fire, yeah.
Yeah, but then it's like, man, but a fire, it's like a fire on a boat. It's like you don't think about it because you're on water, but it's like the worst thing that can happen on a boat because it's like you're so it's like you have nowhere to go on an island. So it's like, man, you really need a plan for that. And it's like maybe if I lived there, it was different. I might have considered it. Like I'm not used to living on an island. But fuck, that's really something you got to think about too. It's not just water disasters; it's a fire disaster. I wonder, to your point,
especially with the volcano, like Wayne, the volcano. Like, what if the volcano erupts?
Yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, it's a fucking volcano. Okay, yeah, you think that would be part of your disaster plan too? Then volcano eruption. That's horrifying. I agree. The buckets and the water and the what you call it, helicopters. That's great, but I guess my thing with that is they'd have to already have it on the island, right? Because like how it'd probably take a minute to get a helicopter from like California, where I assume they have those things because of all their wildfires. If they're allowed to use the water to put out fires there, I'm not sure it's safe.
No.
Yes, they just don't have enough of it to use to put out the fires. We just don't have
exactly. They have to borrow it from it. They have to go source it from Arizona or whatever.
Right.
Hey, Arizona, can you send some water this way to stop our wildfires because we can't actually take care of our own resources?
Well, I understand, like
the disaster prep there, like FEMA or what the state should have those though. I mean, they should have a plan for this, so they should.
Oh, I mean, even local EMA, even local EMA should have that. Because there's the federal, state, and then local EMAs. All of those EMAs failed this whole situation, all of them.
I can understand the argument that, like, okay, you're dropping ocean water onto this, and so now you're introducing salt, and you've got a whole other potential problem. But like, don't you have to put the fire out? Like, if the fire just consumes everything, then you don't have, like, you're not going to have any other problems. Like, let's get the fire out, and then we can deal with the salt water that we had to dump and stuff like that. Like, I don't know. There's got to be a crisis management, and a little bit of triage done at some point.
If I was a humanity-hating environmentalist, I would argue then that fire actually is very good for the land, and so it would eliminate the human menace from the island, and then all sorts of new growth would happen because fire stimulates seed germination. So, really, it's going to retake the island. You can't salt it up, and and again, we want these housing developments gone. So let's just let it happen.
That's fair enough.
Obviously, I'm not arguing to do that. I wouldn't even have considered the salt, like you said, it's a fire. Like, we're gonna put the fucking fire out, and plants that grow on an island are salt tolerant anyhow. They kind of have to be. Like, a lot of plants, if you live within a half a mile of an ocean, you can't grow the same shit as other people because the salt comes in on the air, and it can be bad for a lot of shit. So, the fucking island's already ready for salt water. It's a fucking volcano. It's rock. Like, it's tough plants. They're used to it. You're good. Besides, the fire burns the salt off anyhow, or something.
It's like the palm trees aren't gonna. They're like, what? What's gonna be the issue with the palm trees having a little bit of salt water? Like, Jesus.
We can't let those mangroves get too salty, guys. Like, come on. Sorry, Jay's comment here. It is a completely different biome with different plants. We experience that here, like in Florida. You go from the center of the state out to the coast, which me and Wayne do every day, and yes, you see things change as you get closer to the coast. Like, it's totally different shit. Have any of you guys? Jay says he's been to Hawaii. Have either of you guys been to Hawaii?
Yeah, we went to Maui in 2021.
It seems overhyped to me. Like, I'm sure it's a beautiful place and this and that, but for the money you have to spend to go, I just don't care. Like, I'll go to the beach here, or the Caribbean.
I don't even like beaches. Like, I'm not a fan of.
Not a beach guy either.
I'm not a fan of sand. I don't like it.
My wife is though. That's why we went. This is like she was like.
No, it's the only place you can get sun.
My wife thinks she's a fan of beaches. She's actually a fan of the water. So like where we were in Montana, that was perfect because there was a big ass lake. It didn't have like sandy beaches. It had like, you just get out on the lake. It was kind of perfect. Like, she gets the water, I get the mountains. Nobody has to deal with the sand. That's life right there.
You could really have the worst of all worlds and have to go to the Great Lakes to go to the beach. I did that once in Milwaukee, and it's neat. It's like, oh, it kind of looks like the beach, but it smells like a lake. The water's way too cold to actually get in and swim. My
so
wife.
It's the worst of all worlds.
Yeah, pretty much. And then you're still in the fucking, you're still in the Midwest. My father-in-law had a sailboat. And I'm talking about, I'm like, oh man, that's cool. Like, I think sailing's awesome. My parents lived aboard out here. That's awesome, man. And he's like, oh, I hate it. I'm trying to sell it. I hate sailing. And I'm like, what? And I was like floored. And then I got to thinking about, I'm like, oh, he's sailing in fucking Lake Michigan. Yeah, that sounds awful. Because like the benefits of like saltwater is there's fish, there's sharks, there, like you can catch shit. Like it's pretty. It's like, I'm like, okay, yeah, sailing kind of loses its magic when you're in fucking, yes, thank you, Jay.
Gulf Beach. Yeah.
Yes, hell yeah. Sailing kind of loses its magic when you're in Lake Michigan, I think. So I get it in that regard. It wouldn't be worth the hassle. If you're sailing around, the Gulf of Mexico, that's just awesome.
Underrated beaches would be like the Jersey Shore, not up in the northern part of Jersey, like the Jersey Shore TV show part, but like middle of the state, like north of Atlantic City. There's some really nice beaches, and That's pretty cool. I actually did enjoy that. Like they got the really cool boardwalks, and it's just kind of a nice beach. Like there are
salt
some
marshes out there. Yeah.
Yeah, there are some pretty cool spots out through there. I enjoyed that way more so than like Daytona. I really do like the I do like the Gulf Coast better, like Clearwater or
nicer beaches for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, the I mean Daytona is just like what's the one in North Carolina that's the popular one? It's just all the Atlantic Shore places I've been just look exactly the same.
I don't know of one in North Carolina. I mean,
Myrtle Beach.
Myrtle Beach.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to think. Yeah. Or is that South Carolina?
Yeah, that's South Carolina.
Yeah. Myrtle Beach. Like I went there once. I walked out. I was like,
I wasn't impressed.
This is Daytona.
Yeah.
Like, okay. But yeah, no, the Gulf's pretty. And if you're not looking for, and I suggest staying away from like traditional beaches. You know, like Clearwater's fun, but like that kind of beach. Like if you go to places like a little more off the beaten path, you can get places where like you sit under a tree on your own private little beach. You know what I mean? Because I just like, why do I want to go sit in the desert? Like that's just stupid. With a bunch of greasy foreigners and tourists. Ugh. You know, I got people like Justin coming down to visit.
That probably helped my experience when I was in Jersey. Was we didn't go to one of the like really big, like more popular beaches. I'd asked one of the guys who worked up there. I was like, where's a good beach to go? I want to take the kids and go to the beach. And he said, "Oh, don't go to any of those like major ones." He was like, "Go to this town," and like just told me the name of a town. And they have like really nice boardwalks. There are all these little like houses that you could like rent for a week and stuff. I think, and it was like, I started looking it up after we left. Is like you could rent one of those houses for like $1,200 for a week and just stay on the beach. Like this is kind of fucking awesome. Like I might consider doing that at some point in the future. Like it's pretty nice. But yeah, I mean, you have to get off the beaten path. Like you're not going. Like I would never, ever, ever, ever go to the beach at Atlantic City for any reason. Like Atlantic City was cool to like hit up some casinos and stuff, but looking at the beaches, it was like, no, fuck that. That looks miserable.
We had this happen recently. Oh, I didn't realize that Justin was involved. It's a Courtney Campbell Causeway is a road there in Clearwater. But it, and maybe think of this, Wayne's comment here about Gandy Beach, which is a similar beach. It's, if you have jet skis and you like to barbecue loudly outside, and things like that, it's a good beach for you if you catch my drift. But yeah, as I guess 4th of July, you know, a couple groups of aggressive beachgoers started shooting at each other, and fucking 7-year-old kid got killed. He wasn't even involved. I don't think he was involved with either of the groups. I think he was just a fucking bystander. Like his grandfather was with him and got shot too or something, trying to get him out of there. Fucking crazy. Oh, between two groups over jet skis. I knew it. I was just making a joke about jet ski people, but that's
jet ski people are weird. I don't know. Just strange.
Yeah. It is like a weird flex having jet skis. Like, don't get me wrong. If you're my buddy and we're at the beach, you got jet. Hey, you want to take her for a spin? Hell yeah, I'll take her for a spin. But after like 15 minutes, I'm like,
yeah, I'm ready to.
Okay, I'm like, all right, well that was fun. All right, I'm gonna go drink some beers. You know, I just can't see spending that much on jet skis that take them out twice a year.
Yeah, my uncle has a house on Kentucky Lake, and when we were all younger in like high school and college, they had jet skis, and we'd go out on the lake on the jet skis, and it's like, this is kind of fun, like for a minute, but I don't really like. Can we go back and do something else now? Not really.
No, I will make a caveat. If you're skiing or tubing and you have a jet ski that's built for that, like it's built to hold 3 people or whatever the legal thing is for skiing, that's useful because then you don't have to go buy a big ass ski boat. You know what I mean? So I will throw that caveat out there. I've known people who use them for skiing, and then it makes all the sense in the world.
I guess that'd be cool.
Yeah, but yeah, otherwise, yeah, it's like a scooter, like a mini bike or something. Like, yeah, let me take it for a lap around the property, and then okay.
Yeah, cool. Somebody else can have this now. I'm done.
Yep.
Like, I got the experience. I'm out now. Like, I can say I did it.
You know, maybe they're onto something. Like with 37 people and one jet ski. I mean, it's like a timeshare. You know what I mean? I'm not going to stay in the condo all year. You know, if yo dog, if
You
we
got
split
your
this jet
15
ski
minutes.
37 ways,
you get your 15 minutes. I get then we rotate, and then it was somebody got the turns mixed up. It's like, oh, it's supposed to be Joe's turn. Probably not Joe, but you know.
it will. Rutherford, I don't know. Oh shit.
Raekwon. It's like it's Raekwon's turn.
If they're shooting each other over the jet ski, it's probably not Rutherford. This is the white trash rich. You know, they saved up enough money for jet skis, and that's why they're fighting over them. Like actual rich folks aren't fighting over jet skis. They don't give a shit.
Yeah, they're on yachts anyhow. All right, Trey.
Yeah.
Have a good day, man.
What? Is he leaving? It's just us?
Guess.
Oh, shit.
Just us. Oh, well, damn.
Should I tell about my experience with the Hornets yesterday, since I'm still hurting a little bit?
Sure, yeah. I like a good personal injury story.
So yesterday, while mowing the yard, I discovered that we have some ground hornets around the property. I guess I just happened to stop in like just the right spot, maybe, because I had the mower running, and I stopped, and I went to like move some limbs that had fallen in the storms earlier in the week, and I got back on, and I turned it back, and I like fired the mower back up, and then all of a sudden I felt something on the back of my neck, like fucking hurt. And so I reached back, and I could feel it, and so I crushed it and pulled it up, and it's a fucking hornet. And about that time, I feel the rest of them, and like I had two of them on my right leg down around my ankle, one of them on my left leg about mid shin, and then one got on my hand, another one on my elbow, and there was one on my shoe. So like as soon as I feel all of these fucking things stinging me, I realized that they're swarming the mower. So I like just jumped up and took off running and got out away from it. And I got all of them off me. And then I just sat there and I was like, okay, so, I mean, I'm like halfway done mowing the yard. I've still got to finish mowing.
You say just living in the ground? Like they have like a nest underground?
Yeah. They just like kind of burrow up in the ground.
Man, I don't know I feel like we must have something like that, but I've fortunately never had that instance. One short of being a kid and not learning like where wasps hang out. Like now, typically if I get stung by a wasp these days, it's like a dead wasp that like I step on or something, or like I'll be like a lot of times bees and wasps will accumulate on the rear deck of a car because they blow in the windows over the years, and then when I get back there to tint it, it's like 37 dead wasps laying back there. So it'll be an instance like that where like I stab myself with a dead wasp. Otherwise, usually, I know where to look for them, kill them if there's a nest. Otherwise, as long as you don't look at them, like, dude, I've had wasp nests, literally like a giant nest in the door frame of like the front door of my house, or when we had the tiny house, especially. And it's like every time you open and close the door, it bumps the nest and it shakes. And months would go by, never have a problem until we'd have a guest come over, then I'd exterminate them. But it's just amazing how sometimes you can just live with them. But boy, howdy, if you park a lawnmower on top of their house, like they are going to be pissed.
Yeah. So that's what I encountered, was they were very pissed, and they were just like swarming around the lawnmower. I'm like, all right, well, I've got to finish mowing the yard. So I just like took a deep breath and ran and jumped on it, like leapt through the air, landed on the seat, smashed the clutch down, fired it up, and just slammed on the pedal and drove out of there as fast as I could. I got stung one more time in the process of all that, but managed to get away. And like I went and walked over, like after I got done mowing, and I walked over there to see if I could figure out where it is, so I could pour gasoline on it and try to eliminate these motherfuckers, so it doesn't happen to one of the kids. Like that, I'm not worried about me. I'm worried like one of the kids is going to walk out there and not handle getting stung 7 times quite as well as I do, and then would have to make
get my
rush
girl.
have to make a rush to the emergency room because got a child going into anaphylactic shock or some shit. And so I was trying to find them, and I can't figure out where they were, or if when I ran over it stirred it up enough that they left and went somewhere else, because they weren't still over there, and I couldn't see anything that would indicate that there was still a nest anywhere in the ground in that general vicinity. So I don't know what the fuck happened.
Is My Girl a good movie? I haven't seen it since I was a kid. I was thinking about watching it again, but I didn't know.
Oh my gosh, I watched
it. Was actually a good movie.
Me and Katie watched it a couple weeks ago, and
Wayne says no.
He says no because he doesn't want to. He's worried you're going to make him watch it with you, and then he's going to end up crying.
Dude, I cried just thinking about the 2 scenes I remember, where there's the one where she's in the funeral, and he can't see without his glasses. Like, oh my god,
they got me so bad. I'm sitting there bawling, and my daughter is laughing at me. And then the follow up scene where his mom talks to the dad about missing him now that he's gone and stuff. Then and she started bawling. I was like, you were just making fun of me. Now here you are over here. And then Stephanie walks in and sees both of us in there just bawling. She's like, what is wrong with y'all?
And she just started crying instinctually. She didn't even know what was going on. She just wanted to be part of the group.
Oh, she wouldn't even walk in the room.
The house.
She wouldn't even. Yeah, Stephanie wouldn't even walk in the room because we're in there crying. It's like, we're watching My Girl, and she goes, nope, I'm out. I'm not doing it. She's like, I'm not even coming in there.
The house from the movie The Funeral Home. It's 30 minutes for me. It's in a town called Bartow. Yeah.
Oh.
It goes up for sale every few years, and then they put articles out about the house from My Girl, blah blah blah. But yeah, it's actually in a town really, really close to me. We watched Dante's Peak the other day, me and the wife. And have you ever seen it with Pierce Brosnan and everything? Yeah, 90s disaster movie. It was fine, for what it was. But we're just talking about, because it's like the grandma gets in the acid pit and dies, and it says the grandkids are there, and it says tearful goodbye. And we're just joking, yeah, stupid bitch grandma, you should have listened when sexy Pierce Brosnan told you to leave, and this and that. We're laughing about it. But then the next a couple scenes later, this ridiculous scene, they're driving over the lava flow in the truck, and the wheels are on fire, and this and that. And the dog, Ruffy, grandma's dog, had run off into the woods, and we assumed was dead, and that made us sad. But then there's Ruffy, and they're going to make this big rescue of Ruffy, and Ruffy makes it onto the truck, jumps on, and I'm tearing up. I'm oh my God, they got Ruffy, thank God, I'm like, oh my God, I'm such a monster, laughing about this tearful grandma death. But when it comes to the poor little fucking stupid dog, I'm like, oh my God, Ruffy doesn't die.
Oh God, some of those movies, like the late '90s, early 2000s movies, they were so over the top, the acting and the the production, talking about the driving over the lava with the tires on fire and shit. It's the shit is so wild and unbelievable now as adults, but back then when we were teenagers, oh my gosh, this is the greatest shit ever. Which really badass. Which probably just goes to show that as teenagers, we're really a bunch of retards.
Because democracy basically means government by the people, of the people, for the people. But the people are retarded.